Came back from a book signing. My friend Alan, he just self-published a book. I'm really proud of him. It's a book. It's called Can I Speak? If you want the book, if you're interested in the book, it's a book of poems that he put together so eloquently, and it explains his story. Go to www.canispeak.com. Alan Levi Simmons is his name. I'm going to tag him to this video. But one of the things he mentioned in giving his advice at his book signing, he was talking about how we can limit ourselves. We can limit ourselves based upon what we believe of ourselves. And it resonated with me so much because I thought about the times in my life where I felt like I could not do something. Like I felt like I could not do what I'm doing right now. I felt like I couldn't speak to people publicly, like in public environments. Whenever somebody would say, "Hey Joe, you got some words to say, or we need you to say some things," I'm like, yeah, that's not really my thing. But then I had to really sit down and figure out where that came from. I remember in the eighth grade, never forget it. It was like an end of grade type of assessment that we had to take, and one of the parts of the assessment was we had to come up with a written part to talk about. We had to talk about whatever we wanted to talk about. So I picked my topic. I can't remember what it was, but I remember during the speech, I was talking and I just lost my entire train of thought. Like I was sitting there, I was flowing, I was gesturing, moving, doing my thing. And then after that, I was like, and you know how when you're publicly speaking, everybody's look like they're looking in your mouth. They're like, and you're like, and I'm like, and so I looked down at my paper. I had my little notes there, but everything like started like looked like it was running together. I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. And I'm like, and that's the end of the story. Thank you very much. And credit to the children. Sometimes children can be very cruel. They didn't laugh. But inside I felt this big. And so every time I was asked to speak after that, that little part of me was still stuck in that moment. It was still stuck in that moment to say, that's probably going to happen again. And the one thing we have to think about, and we have to continue to work on is our perception of ourselves. That was one snapshot in my life. I was 13 years old. I'm 34 now. That was 21 years ago. So for me to carry that 13-year-old Joe to 34-year-old Joe, that was one mistake that I made. When are we going to forgive ourselves for the mistakes that we made? When are we going to erase that stigma saying that, that thing that happened before is going to happen again? It only happens again if you're not prepared, or if you don't take the proper steps of getting ready for the moment. Let's be honest, in that moment, in that assessment, I wasn't ready for it. They gave us 15 minutes or 20 minutes to prepare. I'm a man of preparation, but back then I didn't notice that. I didn't know that about myself. I didn't know that I require preparation. I require rehearsal. I require different things. But I had to cut myself some slack. That was a one mishap. Many other times I spoke in front of people and everything went fine, but in my head is like, don't let that moment happen again. And for anyone out there that has a dream, that has an aspiration, that has a gift, that has a talent, there's always going to be an attack on that talent. The devil's going to try to get in your mind and say, maybe you're not built for this. Remember what happened the last time? But in that moment, it's for you to either buy into what he's saying or reject what he's saying, like that was last time. That was then, this is now. What are we going to do with what we are given now? We have been preparing for months. We've been preparing for years, different things that we've done, whether it's poetry, whether it's spoken word, whether it's motivational speaking, whether it's whatever your craft is, art, whatever it is. We need to be more gracious to ourselves and trust the God-given talents that he's given us. Because if he's given it to us, he's given it to us because he knows that we can carry out what he needs us to do in our lives. And if we are doubting that, our own doubt is what's leaving us out of situations that we need to be into. The situations that God is calling us to, he's not going to call us to it without giving us something, without giving us his ability to get through these situations, to be able to handle the magnitude of the moment. If God asks you right now to speak in front of thousands of people, normally, I may be like, I talk in front of this camera, a couple people watch, or I posted, or I'm live with my he said she said. Those are usually nice intimate groups. Thousands? Oh no, Lord. Well, we have not because we ask not. We have little faith, so we get little results. You got to think big faith, big ability, not my ability, but his ability that gives me the ability to do what he's called me to do. He's not going to leave you, and he's not going to forsake you. His word says that I will never leave you nor forsake you. And that includes the big moments that he's called us to do. He's called you for a big moment. Are you going to trust his ability, or are you going to count on your ability, which may or may not happen? I'm going to count on his ability every time. Every time I shoot a video, before I shoot a video, before I speak, before I have a he said, she said discussion, I invite God into that situation, into that atmosphere, because I know my ability, it can be shaky. I could go into 13-year-old Joe right now and start stuttering all over the camera. But with God's ability, he'll make me, he'll use me to be able to say what it is that I need to say to somebody. And I pray that I'm reaching somebody right now that may be like, I don't know about my abilities. I don't know about my abilities, but I know all the day about God's abilities. And his abilities never failed yet. So why are we doubting it? It's time to stop doubting him. We can doubt us. I may or may not be right, but I'm usable. And he wants to use you in these moments. So will you allow him to use you and trust on his ability, not your own?